What's up, guys? It's Dynasty for the Mountaintops. Back again for week 5 into week 6. I am Mickey along with Jeremy, the co-host extraordinaire. How you doing tonight, my man?
Man, I'm doing good, especially because every introduction, my title gets longer and longer. So hey, I'm looking forward to next week, football wise and pod. But let's get the show on the road here.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna pass up extraordinaire. That's pretty much the top of the line there, I think, right? Maybe expert. I don't know. We'll
We
see.
can leave it. We can leave extraordinary. It sounds fancy.
So week 5, we are going to be talking today about injuries, takeaways, and standouts as we do every week. Injury, luckily, a little bit later on, so we're going to talk about a couple updates as well. Talk about flex options for week 6 as the Vikings and Texans are on a bye, so you might have to cover there. And then we're going to do a little bit of 25 rookie or the 2025 rookie talk and redraft the top 20 players probably in the league right now that are rookies. So should be fun. I know I'm excited for this. I love talking rookies and how they're doing so far. So 5 weeks in, I figured it'd be a good time to get that started. But first off, we're going to go to the week that was. Week 5, we're going to start off with injuries. So these are all the new ones, and then we'll just talk about a couple of them. Sound good, Jer?
Sounds good to me, man. Let's rock and roll.
All right, man. So obviously the number one in everyone's mind, more than likely, is Amari Hampton. He is a rookie, obviously,
Yeah.
with an ankle injury. He's on IR, going to miss at least 4 weeks. He was put on IR so quickly that I believe it's probably going to be longer, but I'm not a doctor. I don't know that for sure. That's just my thought process. Whenever someone goes on IR a day later than the injury. Antonio Gibson, ACL, season-ending ACL. So now it's 2-man backfield for the Patriots. Rico Dowdle had a cramp, should be fine, no big deal. Late in the game, there after those 200 yards, I would get a cramp too.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, we'll talk about him later as well, so we don't have to worry about that. Darius Slayton had a hamstring injury. I'm not sure what's going on there. I don't know if you have any update.
From what I heard today, he was a do not practice. So did not practice. So it sounds like it could be something a little bit serious and something to monitor.
Well, the Giants can't have nice things, obviously, because Jackson Dart's also limited with a hamstring as well. Former Giant, Saquon Barkley, left the game with a knee injury. I'm not sure what's going on there. I haven't heard anything. I've been trying to find out anything. I don't know if you knew anything about Barkley.
No, Barkley, no. Jackson Dart, I'm here and should be fine. But yeah, Barkley, I have not heard any updates. And I'm interested to see exactly how this injury report would look if we did not have the Giants playing the Eagles Thursday.
That's a really good point.
So, I mean, I know practices are skewed and the schedules are a little bit different, but definitely all these injuries are something to monitor, but between these two teams, something to especially monitor regarding their severity.
That's a very good point. So there might not be anything going on with any of these guys. I think Slayton, it might be more serious, but for everybody else, though, not so much. And then Kyler Murray left the game but returned with a foot injury. From what I saw, it's worth monitoring if you have him. But I haven't heard if he practiced or not yesterday. I think today's the first day of practice. We're recording on Tuesday, so we'll see there. Hopefully he's okay because obviously a starting quarterback, we can't lose any more of them. So anyone you really, I mean, obviously Amari Hampton, we have to kind of discuss, and we'll talk about him a little bit later in the rookie segment as well. But IR, missing 4 weeks, you don't have Najee Harris for the season. What do you think's what's your fantasy takeaway from this?
Definitely curious to see exactly how they incorporate that backfield. I know they have Vital, excuse my pronunciation on that, but I know he was a draftee last year. He didn't get too much opportunity, and then they brought in Najee Harris, so it tells you what they think of him. And then they got Haskins as well, who was the third string, and he was getting some goal line work. It looks like he's going to get primarily the work here. It's going to be good to see exactly what kind of true colors they have with him and what he can produce.
Yeah, he's like literally a very, very small amount of Derrick Henry's talent. However, He does not catch the ball. He bruises people. He's 230 pounds. I like him. I liked him when he was at Michigan, but he never really just had an opportunity. He smoked it at Michigan, though. He was one of the best running backs in the country, yards wise, that year. His last year there. So he does have some talent. We'll see if he'll be able to use that talent for the Chargers, or what I think is going to happen is they're already pass heavy. It might even get more pass heavy. They got receivers all over the field that are talented. Like, we haven't even heard Trey Harris's name yet, who we'll talk about later today. We were talking about the rookies that I brought to my attention, him or Lambert as well, who they really like, or Rondé Gatz. Like, they have pass catchers all over the place. So Justin Herbert might just be dealing until they figure this running back situation out. I also heard Gus Bus might be back, which whatever you want to do with that is up to you. I wouldn't worry about that too much, Gus Edwards. So that is a serious possibility, though, that they bring in Gus Edwards as another piece to the running game as well. So anything else you've heard on any of these? Obviously, Antonio Gibson doesn't really change much in that backfield, but
No, it's just one less hand. And unfortunately, it was one of those ones where you saw the injury happen. You kind of knew it was going to be significant of some sort. I believe he fumbled the ball as well in the play. And when you see a player fumble the ball and then like have zero priority toward the ball and they're laying there in a hump, and you know something serious has happened. So, Godspeed to Antonio Gibson. I always liked him even back to his Commander days. But yeah, let's see what kind of volume Henderson gets now with this going on.
thank you for bringing it up. Hopefully, it helps out Henderson a little bit, because he is the player in this backfield that actually matters fantasy wise, in my opinion. I know Stevenson had 2 touchdowns last week, but I think he had like 30 yards total, something like that. So
He had like 30. He also had like 30 fumbles. So like,
very good point.
You have Stevenson. You're not starting him with confidence. You're starting him on like a last resort, where you're running into bye weeks now, or you're going to have some of these bye weeks where we're losing 4 to 5 teams, and that's when you're playing Stevenson. Other than that, you have no confidence in playing him because he's going to drop the ball.
Yeah, I mean, it does help the backfield out a little bit to be able to play for fantasy wise, because now it's only 2 guys instead of 3, so that is positive. But Drake may run so much that he's taking a little bit of that as well. But that's really the only thing that I see. Fantasy relevance was mainly Omarion Hampton. Everything else looked like it was minor. We just wanted to bring it to people's attention. Kyler Murray, obviously, I'm monitoring because he's one of my favorite players and I have him in the league, but don't know much about it yet. I believe he's going to be okay if he returned to the game, but it could be the adrenaline as well. So we'll see about that this weekend, but pay attention to it for sure, because I'm sure you're starting him if you have a 2-quarterback league. Also, some updates. Chuba Hubbard has a calf injury, did not play, obviously. His status is uncertain for this week. However, I've heard that he's probably not coming back. It's like 50-50 right now. Have you heard anything different?
No, I've not heard anything different, and I might be mistaken, but I believe they have Dallas, and then they have a bye week. So that might be something that they might just want to have him hold on to and give him an extra week. I might be mistaken on that, but I do know usually these calf injuries are about a 2-week span. And hey, Dallas playing against Dallas, his former team. I'm a big fan of those types of storylines, and he just ran for 200 yards last week. So let's throw Dallas in and see what happens.
Absolutely. I don't see why you don't rest Chuba for 2 more weeks if he has a calf injury. So I think he's probably going to sit, but we don't know that for certain. CeeDee Lamb, ankle, he's expected to return soon. He was seen on the practice field in limited capacity, which is nice to see as well. Tyrone Tracy, shoulder injury, very limited. Not sure if he's going to be back or not. He wasn't back on Sunday.
Correct.
Yeah, and I'm hearing that he might be back this weekend. Are you hearing anything different?
Nope, same thing. I'm hearing the exact same.
Yeah, and then Bucky Irving, foot and shoulder, 2 injuries, expected to miss week 6. They also have a bye week in week 7. Everyone expected this to be a 3-week deal for Bucky so that he can be healthy coming out of the bye week. Just like you were talking about with Chuba, that's everything that I'm hearing. I don't know if you're hearing more differently, anything like that. So
I do want to take it back. A little bit of homework tells me that they are. I was 1 week ahead on them playing Dallas. They play Miami next week. Excuse me, they do play Dallas next week. Week 6 is when they play Dallas. He did not play week 5, correct? But they are not into a bye week. Their bye is not until week 14. So something to monitor. Again, he's being labeled as day to day. Chuba Hubbard, that is pronouns. He's being labeled day to day, but at this time, I'd give him at least 1 more week.
yeah, I mean, why would you rush him back with the way Rico played, especially with the revenge game coming up? You let Rico run it, is what I think. But like we said, we don't know for certain. So even if he comes back, it's not going to be full capacity the way Rico ran last week. So
right. And Tyrone Tracy, I guess we'll just wait and see. Because again, it's an abbreviated practice week, so I guess we'll have to wait until Wednesday's full practice prior to Thursday's game to see exactly what he does.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he misses this game because it's a Thursday. But if it would have been a Sunday game, he probably would have played. Is what my guess.
That's the vibes I'm getting as well. Correct.
But we don't know for certain. So we'll see on there. Moving on, we have our takeaways, and my first one is garbage time matters in fantasy. Who cares what the score is? Keep throwing the ball. Because Justin Fields had 5 points in the first half, and then ended up being a top 10 fantasy player quarterback wise. By the end of the game, I think he was quarterback 4 or 5 on the week, and they were never in the game. Obviously, garbage time matters. You can say the same thing with Jake Browning. He ended up throwing 3 touchdown passes, I think, all after they were getting shellacked. And Jamar Chase was recipient of I think 2 of those. So,
correct. 2.
All of that was garbage time. However, garbage time matters. Don't forget it. Who cares when it happens? If it happens, it's still positive. But you had something a little bit more negative to talk about.
Yeah, it's we're approaching week 6, and we're approaching some teams already that have kind of underperformed, such as the Jets, who have yet to win, and Titans, who just won their last game. But you had your rookie quarterback coming out indicating that they were, quote, "we ass," so end quote. So we have a lot of situations where these individuals are coming out to speak, but I mean, quite frankly, it's time to start looking at some coaches that could potentially be the first ones to go. We always lose coaches midseason, so it's a matter of who is that first one to withdraw. 2 names that come to mind are Zach Taylor of the Cincinnati Bengals and Mike McDaniels of the Miami Dolphins. Mike McDaniels has gotten a lot of scrutiny in regards to his lack of preparation and just his lack of motivation in the games and preparation in the games. And they came out kind of soft. They had 1 win, but then they blew a 14 to 21, or was it a 14 or 21 point lead? But they blew a 2 touchdown plus lead over the weekend in that loss. So it's one coach that you would have to keep in mind that could be in the hot seat. And Zach Taylor's another one where you have a lot of the fan base indicating for his firing because they are indicating that Joe Burrow shows the talent that Zach Taylor is. Well, without Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor has a record of 2-10, and as you can see currently in this season, they're not showing any type of motivation or any type of support toward the coaching with the lack of Joe Burrow. I don't necessarily feel that Zach Taylor's position will get necessarily axed because I do believe that there is a asterisk next to this season with the lack of Joe Burrow. But with any type of recent roster moves that they've done by acquiring Joe Flacco today, that's something we could talk about as well if you're interested. But they picked up Joe Flacco today, indicating that the Jake Browning days are over, and they are going to give Flacco probably a run this weekend.
Mike McDaniels, I believe, could be on the hot seat, but his team's still playing for him. How Zach Taylor gets out of this, I have no idea. Head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, I have no idea how he keeps his job. However, they kept Marvin Lewis for 14 years, and he wasn't good at all. So
I think it's gonna be this Joe Flacco move. As weird as it sounds in 2025, them acquiring Joe Flacco by making the quarterback move, by making the trade to acquire the veteran within the division and bring him in for the next 6 to 8 games until Burrow comes back, if he comes back, depending on what the record is. But I mean, this Joe Flacco move, I think, is going to make or break him. If you can't prepare your team for 8 to 9 weeks, minus your star quarterback, when you have all the other assets and all the other pieces in play. Furthermore, when you have your defense playing way better than what they were anticipating to on paper, you're literally an offensive click away from having this team be well. Because again, keep in mind this team was 2-0 before Burrow went down, so the reins have been lost on Zach Taylor. What confuses me is how they're going to approach it with the Joe Burrow situation. But again, I think the move for today for Joe Flacco basically is going to be the pendulum on how this season goes for Zach Taylor.
Yeah, I just find it funny. The Cleveland Browns just benched him, and they're like, "Oh, this guy's going to be good." We'll see.
Yeah, as a Bengals fan, I'm surprised at the move. I mean, and from what I'm reading online, is they didn't even attempt to contact the Giants, which the Giants have arguably two quarterbacks behind Jackson Dart that could start games with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. So they saw something in Flacco. I don't know if it's just the basic veteran leadership. I don't know if it's the fact that he's played for every single AFC North team but the Steelers. I don't know exactly what the situation is, but they want him and they got him, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. He's probably cheapest also. That helps as well. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. There's some other coaches that are on the hot seat too. I don't want to say the one person's name, but the fact that the Baltimore Ravens are 1-4 is very questionable to me. I know it's only one player that didn't play last week, but that team looks really, really bad. I know they're injured, but next man up is what my coach says. I don't know about anybody else. Moving on. Premature TD celebrations. Go for it, sir. Have your box.
No, we had one just recently with DeMarcado just this past Sunday where he dropped the ball on the half-yard line, negating a touchdown as the ball goes out of the back of the end zone, giving the ball back to the opposing team on a touchback rules. We have seen this. We how many times have we seen blooper reels where we had Leon Lett drop the ball or run the wrong way or whoever the situation is? These were infamous plays that have stuck for decades. Now we are having almost every week one of these touchdowns get negated. We had just 2 weeks ago, we had A.J. Mitchell drop the ball right on the goal line. And then just this past week now, we had DeMarcado drop the ball on the goal line. With Jonathan Taylor last season, when are these players going to realize that the celebration can wait? Why is the ball need to be dropped? You know who comes to mind with these touchdown celebrations? It's Larry Fitzgerald. You know what he would always do? He would always find the referee. It was fun. He would never spike the ball. He'd never go crazy with the ball, especially when he was in his pit days. The immediate thing is, first thing he'd do is he'd find the referee and give that touchdown ball to the referee. It was his main priority. That was after the touchdown was scored. There is no reason to be dropping the ball at the goal line. There's no reason to be focused on the celebration. They have these screens you see on the slow motions. Even you see on these slow motions these screens all over the field where these players can view all the surface around them. What kind of players are near them? They know what kind of if players are near them for tackling rules. Why can't they see the goal line? I'm gonna try to get off the soapbox now because DeMarcado cost me a touchdown, but we'll see what happens.
He didn't just cost you a touchdown; he costed his team the game, which is unacceptable. 100%. When you're in that close of the score, like you have to hold on to the ball. Like I don't understand what the big deal is to hold on to the ball for two more steps. It's crazy. It makes no sense. For me, the one thing that I actually like to see this year is a lot of parity in the league, right? And this week, I called it the Kings get humbled. So if you think about who the best teams have been the last 5 to 10 years, it's probably the Eagles, Bills, Chiefs, and Ravens, right? All 4 lost this week. The Eagles lost to the Broncos. The Bills lost to the Patriots. The Chiefs lost to the Jaguars. The Ravens lost to the Texans. I mean, and you can throw the Bengals in there if you want. I mean, I didn't, but you could even say the Bengals. The one team who's been consistently good, it feels like that one was the Lions, who wasn't a that weren't on a bye. So it was unbelievable. The parity that's going on in this league is so much fun. The Colts are 4-1. The Jaguars are 4-1. Like, who would have thought about this? And that's why they play the game. And I know that's why they play the games, and that's why we love fantasy, because who knows, right? But it was just so apparent to me, the parity, and not saying that the Eagles are bad. The Bills are one of the best teams in the league as well. Chiefs are struggling a little bit. Hopefully Rice and a healthy Worthy will help them out, if you like the Chiefs. And the Ravens obviously have a ton of injuries, but still to see those four teams lose the same week, I don't know. I didn't go through enough research on this. I won't lie, but I can't remember the last time that actually happened. So it was pretty interesting to see this weekend.
No, there's four big powerhouses that you love to root against for various reasons, be it their recent successes or a division rival or a owner of a player that you despise.
Well, there is one
no, I
lovable loser in that group too. So
That's true, but no, I love an underdog story, and this is why I love the league, and this is why it's hard for me to pick a favorite team. I don't have a favorite team. I followed the Bengals because of how involved I am from every aspect of their offensive forefront. Um, I followed the Steelers because I'm born and raised Pittsburgh, and they're the reason why I fell in love with football. And Troy Polamalu is my favorite player ever to play the game. Ben Roethlisberger is my favorite quarterback ever to play the game, and they're both Steelers. It's just what I've been exposed to. But this is exactly why I call myself a football fan, and I can't be biased toward other teams because I love watching these types of games. I love watching the way that the script writers, for example, the way the script writers have this portrayed out. I just enjoy this game so much. This is what I look forward to each and every weekend is these types of storylines, these types of upsets, and the way that the league is so unpredictable.
yeah, absolutely. Now, being unpredictable, let's talk about some people that either surprised you or are always standouts here. I'm going to start off with the quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield, quarterback 6. It feels like he's here every single week. We try not to talk about the same players every week, but when you're having this kind of season, MVP-ish season, we got to talk about you. So 29 of 33, 379 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also carried the ball 5 times for 15 yards. He's playing out of control. Like, I'm obviously in control, but he's playing unbelievably. And the best time he plays is the fourth quarter, which is the most important time. So I had to give him a shout out. Obviously, he's just been playing absolutely insane ball. And if you have him on your dynasty team, you are very, very happy about how he's playing right now, for sure. And like I said, probably the beginning of the season, probably one of those few players you can say that is an MVP candidate this year. Another one that is not an MVP candidate by any stretch, but had a great game last night. Trevor Lawrence, quarterback 5, 18 of 25, 221 yards and a touchdown, 10 carries for 54 yards and 2 more touchdowns, including one that he fell twice and still ran it into the end zone. Insane. My question is this a start of things to come? Liam Cohen kind of unlocked what a lot of people didn't let Baker do last year, which was run the ball a little bit, right? And Trevor Lawrence did that in college, and no one's really unlocked that in him in the NFL. And I think that's one of the things that is kind of hampering him is that he's not playing his style of ball. It's all inside the numbers. Or they're not letting him get out of the pocket too much. So if you let him run, maybe he becomes back to that college guy and that guy that everyone thought was going to be the next coming, that still might be in there. So I'm hoping this is a start of things to come. But those Jaguars, they're playing some mean ball right now. It's fun to watch them.
I agree, man. Jaguars are a blast, and you would think, I don't know if it's just the stigma of the Jaguars or if it's the lack of the flashiness behind them, but those boys are 4-1. Like, represent them, and let's give a little quick shout out to the AFC South here. I mean, I know that's one that a lot of people like to bash us, and especially, but all of us bashed it in the offseason, by lack of flashiness and everything like that. But we got the Colts and the Jags in there stomping teams. So I'm excited to see exactly how that division continues to unfold.
Yeah, those games are going to be fun to watch whenever they come up. Jags, Colts. So
Yeah, exactly. Well, and another one I wanted to shout out is the opposing player to your Baker Mayfield in that one hell of a game. It was basically our first true NFL shootout this season. It was 38-35 final, but the Seahawks, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold played an excellent game. He went 28 for 34. That's only 6 incomplete passes, 341 yards, 4 touchdowns on the day. So I wanted to give a little shout out to him. Again, it wasn't enough. They ended up losing at the end to the Buccaneers, but he had one heck of a day with accuracy and 4 touchdowns. I mean, fantasy day, he was fantasy QB. Excuse me, sorry, he was fantasy QB 2 of the day. Next one is Justin Fields. I wanted to call back on that garbage time. Little nugget for our listeners here. I played Mickey, our fearless leader, this week, and I was doing quite well all morning with the percentages. And Jordan Addison had himself a touchdown, and I was doing pretty good until Justin Fields hit garbage time. And then those percentages on the sleeper app went from green to red real quick. Thank you, Justin Fields, in garbage time. But thank you, Justin Fields. He was QB7 of the day. He gave us one heck of a show. Garbage time or not, I am with you, Mickey, on this one. I fully support this. When it comes to the stats, and I'm looking at the stats, say 2, 3, 4 weeks from now, I'm not going to know it was garbage time. And I'm looking at the stats last year, I'm not going to know it was garbage time. And when they're looking at the stats come contract time, they don't know it's garbage time. These are the kind of things that are important. So he went 32 for 46, 283 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He also rushed for 26 yards. Justin Fields, again, quarterback 7 on the day.
yeah, I mean, Justin Fields, me and you both kind of knew this was coming. We were talking about trades with the offseason, with him, seeing if we could make something work because I had 2 other quarterbacks I trusted. But Fields has definitely been my starter for most of the year now. So I'm glad we didn't make those trades. And that's one thing I did call right, which I was pretty happy about. But I was looking at this, and I forgot that Sam Darnold played Baker Mayfield. There were 10 incompletions in this game.
That is an incredible stat. Thank you for doing that math real quick on Baker. That is an incredible stat.
That is some great ball. So much fun. Oh man.
That is a great stat. Well, I can't really top that one, so let's pass it off here to the running backs here. I'm going to go right into Jonathan Taylor. He was running back 2 of the day. He had 66 yards on the 17 carries for 3 rushing touchdowns. This game got out of hand to Vegas real quick, and the Colts did not hold back. He also had 3 catches for 20 yards. Jonathan Taylor, you're running back 2 of the day on Sunday. The next individual I want to talk about is Bill Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, running back 5 of the day. If you were looking for any type of breakout game, this was it. He went at 14 carries. He went for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also had 2 receptions for 39 yards. The other running backs involved were Chris Rodriguez, who only got 5 carries, and Jerry McNichols, who only got 1 carry. So that tells me that the post-Austin Eckler era, which in fact it is, tells me that Bill is the RB1 for the team. And again, he was RB5 for the weekend.
Yeah, the only thing I would say about Bill is last week, the game script was completely different. They were coming from behind. So they had the pass catchers in. This week, they're leading basically the whole game from what it sounded like, or from what it looked like. And he's the one who's going to run the ball more consistently than the other 2. So just be prepared for that. That's what I would say. But Bill, great game. Another great thing that you did for me. I appreciate that on the trade.
You're more than welcome. I couldn't remember. I was like, I know I had him at some point, but I couldn't remember exactly who I went him to.
Yep, that was me. Thanks, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So he finally came to play since I've had him, so that was positive. Also, give a shout out to, I've said his name I think 3 times already in the podcast. Got to say it again, Rico Dowdle. 23 carries, 206 yards and a touchdown. Three catches on 4 targets for 28 yards. Running back 1, player 1, 2. I think Dak Prescott got him. On the week. Just an incredible week. We talk about backups coming to play every single week on this show. And this one is this one's by far the biggest that we've had. Just an insane day. 200 yards against the NFL defense. Don't care how good or bad they really are. That's an impressive day. And the one thing, my takeaway from this is Chuba can come back slower because they trust Dowdle. Dowdle was good last year too, as much as people forget that or don't want to admit it. He did have 1,000 yards last year with Dallas. And I've been saying this whole offseason. I told you why I didn't want any part of Chuba this year, right? Was because I think Dowdle was going to get some run. And I think this was the start of it. Unfortunately, Chuba's injury was the only reason, but you took him out of the bottle. I don't know how you put him back in. It is really how I would say that.
But it's well said on that one. As a Chuba owner, I think you nailed it on the head. If you put him out of the bottle, you put him back in.
So yeah. I think it's
I
going
like the way you put that. And there's a rebuttal to it.
What's that?
I said there's no rebuttal to it. I mean, you nailed it on the head in regards to that analogy. So the way he's now involved in this offense, he's now going to be incorporated in this offense, and it's something Chuba owners are going to have to deal with.
Yeah, and hopefully it's going to be around 50-50. I mean, it'll probably be like 60-40, 65-35 still, but for Chuba, because he has been very good or good this year. So, and was really good last year. So, another backup that got his chance to shine was a former starter, Rachaad White. Running back 7 on the week, 14 carries, 41 yards, 2 touchdowns, caught all 4 of his passes. Or targets, for 30 yards. And another backup running back that performed big. They are all over the place this year. Performing well whenever they need to. Jordan Mason, great. Has performed really well as well. And Michael Carter, who we didn't give a shout out to, but should, because he had a really nice week as well, just outside the top 10 running back wise. So backups are performing, and it's nice to see that the running back. This is why it's okay to have multiple running backs playing at the same time, because they do different things, and they're still successful in the way that they play. So a lot of talent in the running back rooms right now.
No, you definitely see a lot of the committee aspects, and this is why. I mean, it's frustrating to have a committee if you have both of them healthy. But I mean, let's get real here. Fantasy's fantasy. Real life, these teams need these depth aspects. Look at the Chargers; they are just decimated in the running back room. But you have these teams here that have the 1-2 punch that can perform if the other one does fall. Detroit. Now Carolina, you can include Carolina because of the way Rico Dowdle performed, and you can always include Rachaad White, who always seems to get overshadowed because of Bucky's success last year. But as you mentioned prior, he was a former starter, and he can perform at those levels on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, and they love running the ball in Tampa Bay, even though they have all those receivers. In Baker, they still love to run the ball because that's how you seal away games. So, also someone who got a little bit extra shine. My number 1 wide receiver shout out is Jalen Waddle. Obviously, Tyreek Hill went down Monday night for the year. I believe we said it was an ACL in multiple things actually.
Yeah.
Not to laugh at that, but
no, it was. I know he completely dislocated his kneecap.
Yeah.
So like that alone, like oof. Everything that's inside that knee is getting twisted around as well. So
yeah, it looked rough. Still, ouch. But Jalen Waddle took advantage of that If you have him on your roster, you realize that. He was wide receiver 4 on the week, 6 catches on 9 targets for 110 yards and a touchdown. Moving forward, he's wide receiver. He's a wide receiver 2 at a minimum, absolute minimum. There is a chance that he ends up being one of the top 12 wide receivers that you want to have every single week moving forward, because there's really nothing else on this team outside of him and A-Chain. And every so often, whenever the old man Waller shows up as well, to take a touchdown away. But they don't have much power anymore. Ollie Gordon's nice, but Malik Washington's still getting his feet wet, it feels like. But it's really going to be Waddle and Achane moving forward. And as long as Tua is healthy, these two are going to eat. Moving on, we have Deebo Samuel, who is showing us why he was one of the best wide receivers a few years ago in the NFL. Wide receiver 6 again this week. 8 catches on 11 targets for 96 yards and a touchdown. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is, he's feasting. And for the Commanders, and I love the fact that you were able to get this guy. If you had a starter draft or even redraft, I'll talk about real quick, you were able to get this guy so late, and I never understood why. Because, yes, there's Terry McLaurin there. Yes, he didn't have a great year. He was hurt most of it last year. But if he's healthy, he's one of the most electrifying players on the field to watch. And also he performs with that as well. So, again, I think I've given Deebo a couple shout-outs, but can't say it enough times because he has been one of the best wide receivers in the game this year. With a lot of the top dogs either being hurt or having someone hurt throwing them the ball or not having anyone to throw them the ball, he's been one of those guys who was able to shine this year.
No, I love the call out. Debo is one of those ones that he's unfortunately kissed the curse of Saquon Barkley and CMC. They have themselves a horrible run of injuries, or they have themselves a significant injury. It seems that they always have this blanket of injury prone on them. You mentioned, when he's healthy, and I agree, he tends to have a little bit more injury bugs than the other, but you're right. When he's healthy, man, he is one hell of a weapon. The way that he could be utilized out of the backfield, the way that he could be utilized downfield. It's great to watch him healthy, and it's great to see him stepping in for a unhealthy Terry McLaurin. Speaking of unhealthy, I wanted to throw out Jamar Chase, who has been dealing with, once again, an unhealthy quarterback. He is, again, we mentioned garbage time and Jake Browning and Jamar Chase. We mentioned it briefly, but I did want to get out the shout out that he clipped 100 yards. He was 110 yards for 2 touchdowns. They got off to a slow start, but they ultimately, in the second half, got themselves back in rhythm. Jamar Chase was named captain for the first time this year. And there's been a lot of scrutiny in regards to how, not scrutiny, but there's been a lot of innuendo in regards to how he's been handling the captainship, or how he will. But he's been stepping up there in each and every week throughout this Joe Burrow's absence. He's been stepping up in practice and during their games, and I wanted to shout out his numbers in a not so positive game. Wide receiver 2 on the weekend. Another one was wide receiver 5 on the weekend. Stephon Diggs. If my listeners listen a lot, they know that I am a storyline fiend. Probably my wrestling background, but if you can give me a good storyline involved with a football game, I'm all in. Stephon Diggs coming back to Buffalo. Sunday night prime time, under the lights. He has slowly started to progress as the year went. He has not scored a touchdown throughout the year prior to Sunday night, prior to Sunday night, nor was he anywhere near top 10 rankings. But Stephon Diggs went for 146 yards out of 10 catches. So I wanted to give a shout out to Stephon Diggs for the numbers that he posted against a rather stout Buffalo defense.
Yeah, that's like the Undertaker gif all day. Is Stephon Diggs right now? coming back from the last year, man. I love it. I've been a Diggs fan since he was in Minnesota. I can't believe he's on his fourth team, being as talented as he is. But Buffalo, I guess, thought he was done, and now are looking for a number one, where New England has found one. So, love the fact that you called out Stephon Diggs. He was actually going to be one of mine if you didn't. I was giving you the option first.
And I appreciate that. Jumping into tight ends, I wanted to give a shout out to tight end one. I normally don't like to call out the ones in this segment, but tight end one of AJ Barner. I was a big fan of him last year. I saw some potential at the end of the year when he was showing up, but then they drafted Aurora, and it kind of hurt his stocks a little bit. But he stepped up in a big way 2 weeks ago. He got the game-winning touchdown, and then last week he actually scored 2 touchdowns. He went 7 for 7 for 53 yards, and again, team went for 2 touchdowns. On the day he was tight end one. I also wanted to call out Travis Kelce, tight end 7 of the day. He went 7 for 8 for 61 yards, and he had the first touchdown of the day. So those of you that bet the Travis Kelce first touchdown for the day, you hit well. Second, I wanted to call out him because he had himself a day on a wonderful stat that I came across. Do you want to know this, Mickey? Travis Kelce's stats following a Taylor Swift album release. He went 4 receptions, 67 yards, and a touchdown for her 1989 album. 8 receptions, 109 yards, and a touchdown for Reputation. 8 receptions, 136 yards, and a touchdown for Evermore. And 8 receptions for 98 yards for Midnights. So now you can add 7 receptions for 61 yards in the opening touchdown for whatever Taylor Swift's album is nowadays. But fun stats that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, even before they were hooking up, Travis Kelce was hooking up on stat sheets on Taylor Swift and Elsie.
That's good. I love that. And we got to show some love for who I think is the GOAT in the tight end world. Every so often, especially when he finally gets in the top 10. I saw that going into this week, he was like tight end 20 on the year or something like that, at least in one of our leagues. Just crazy to see Kelce that low. It's nice to see that he was able to eat on Sunday. Monday. So, for me, Theo Johnson, tight end 3, it looks like he might be the number one target while Malik Neighbors is hurt. He went 6 for 7 for 33 yards and 2 touchdowns, especially in the red zone at least, for Jackson Dart. And now with Darius Slayton, whatever's going on there, he's going to probably get more targets because I don't know who they got left in the wide receiver room outside of Wan'Dale Robinson. So, and then David Njoku, tight end 6 of 9 for 67 yards and a touchdown. Yes, they have Harold Fannin. We know that. But do not forget that they still have Njoku as well. Because he is a heck of a tight end. And he's so good as a tight end that most of the time, whenever there's a second tight end, he's the one blocking. So he loses a little bit of value in fantasy. But then he shows you every so often how good he really is in fantasy as well. So just wanted to give him a shout out because I don't know how often we're going to be able to do that with Fannin there as well. So we're going to move on to our flex options because for week 6, we have bye weeks for the Houston Texans and the Minnesota Vikings. So you're losing C.J. Stroud, Nick Chubb or Woody Marks, sort of, Nico Collins. For the Vikings, you have Jordan Mason, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, all starters. T.J.'s having a rough year, but he's still probably starting on your roster or close to it. So we got to figure out who we can start instead. So we're going to go from 5 to 1 here. If Jeremy, you would like to start.
Yes, from 5 to 1. Number 5, I would like to shout out Tajay Spears. Coming back from IR this past week. He got a little bit of action, not a lot, but again, that's what you would expect when you were coming back from IR and an injury. He's going against the Raiders defense, who was tied second for the most touchdowns allowed, 8 on the year. So I wanted to give a shout out to Tajay Spears, who's going to bring much needed offensive help to a tight end's backfield that has only been consisted of Tony Pollard significantly.
Yeah, hopefully he brings some help to Tony Pollard because he's having a rough year for himself as well. Not doing Cam Ward any favors. Dontavian Wicks is my number 5, playing the Bengals defense. Well, it's his turn. That's really the reason. I said this 2 weeks ago whenever Romeo Dobbs had 3 touchdowns, and it's like every single week someone feasted. Well, Wicks hasn't feasted yet, so I'm taking a chance that he's going to on Sunday. This is literally just speculative. But also, he is playing the Bengals defense, tied second most receiving touchdowns with 12. Also, have the third or are allowing the third most receiving yards in 1,350. So they're letting a lot of wide receivers eat, and I think it's going to be Wick's week.
No, the call, especially the way, like you mentioned, the way the ball's being spread around in Green Bay. I'm looking forward to that because I am a love owner. I have love in a league, and and the more weapons, the better for me. So I'll gladly take it. My 4th flex is going to be Trevion Henderson. I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable in starting him. I know his numbers last week weren't the greatest because, in my opinion, it was a little bit of game script in the way that Stevenson vultured both touchdowns of him. But Stevenson's also coughed up his 3rd fumble of the season. So I know that that's being looked at least somewhat in regards to the coaching staff for the Patriots. But Trevion Henderson did leave the backfield last week in rushing yards. It was a merely 24, but he was able to do that in 6 carries. And again, without a fumble, and Stevenson having 3, I'm curious to see how this intake continues for Henderson.
Yeah, I don't know how much longer they're going to be okay with Stevenson dropping the ball, I guess. For me, number 4, also running back. We talked about him a little bit earlier. There is a major injury on his team, Hassan Haskins. He's also playing the Dolphins defense, which is phenomenal. They allow the most rushing yards with 871 and allow the most rushes of 20-plus yards with 7 times that's happened. So I believe he's going to be the first down and second down back. Hopefully Gus Edwards doesn't come in this week and take it over for him. I'm excited to see him eat a little bit against a really bad defense.
No, defense is porous, to say the least. So full agreement there. My 3rd one I'm going to do is the wide receiver Devontae Smith of Philadelphia. I've included him because you haven't been able to start wide receivers for Philadelphia with confidence for this year until, in my opinion, now. They both came out publicly speaking in regards. They both came out indicating that they were unhappy with the way that the offensive was being ran for the passing game. A.J. Brown's was a lot more publicly than Devonta Smith's. But nevertheless, Devonta Smith surpassed 100 receiving yards in that upset loss to the Broncos that we were talking about earlier. Smith has been the more consistent producer between him and A.J. Brown, and it's been shown on a stat sheet of 25 catches for 272 yards and a touchdown so far in the receiving line for the year. And they are going into a favorable matchup against the Giants Thursday night. Those short weeks, those wide receivers tend to do a little bit better than running backs. So I'm starting Devontae Smith with flying colors.
Yeah, I'm glad you put him on here because he's one of my guys that I need for one of my dynasty leagues. So I'm glad you put him on here. I'm agreeing with you on this one, or
fantastic.
Hoping you're right. Let me rephrase that.
Thank you.
My number 3, fifth time maybe I say his name, Rico Dowdle. Not only did he show out last week, but guess who he plays? The Cowboys defense that showed up last week, but did they really? We'll see if it continues. Cowboys tied 5th most in rush touchdowns in 6, and Rico just came off the 200-yard game. Plus, you don't think he wants to prove them wrong for not keeping him there? I have a feeling Rico's going to go crazy, even more so if Chuba Hubbard is out.
No, yeah, I did full agreement. Revenge game. Again, go back to the storylines. Revenge game. Chuba, I don't think is going to play. Wheels up on Rico Dowdle. Speaking of running backs, I'm going to also go wheels up on Michael Carter. Michael Carter today was listed as the RB1 in Arizona. Everybody was curious exactly who would that be, and it seemed to be flirting with DeMarcado at the beginning of the game. Especially when they came out saying they're going to rabbit the hot hand, and DeMarcado started getting more carries. But Michael Carter ended up with having himself a day. 15.8 fantasy points in standard PPR format leagues. So I'm going with Michael Carter being RB1 in Arizona.
I love the call. Same reason as Haskins and Dowdle. He's getting the opportunity, right? Um, and he performed last week, so hopefully it continues. For me, Xavier Leggett came back to life last week. Had a nice day. He's playing the, let's say it together, Cowboys defense.
Cowboys defense. I'm sorry.
Allowing the most receiving yards in 1,520. No one is at 1,400 except for them, and they have 1,520. Over 300 yards a game they're allowing. Now, yes, Ted's going to get most of that. Don't get me wrong. However, Xavier Leggett played really well last week. Looked like he was the guy that they drafted in the first round last year. And with Ted getting a lot of the coverage and probably going to get covered by Diggs, I have a feeling Leggett's going to eat pretty heavily.
No, and as much as you were happy to see Devontae Smith on my list, I was happy to see Leggett on yours. I'm a big fan of Leggett. I was a big fan of him last year. Just personality wise, he's a fun player to follow, and he had himself one drop in a Philadelphia game last season that kind of just reflected his entire rookie season incorrectly. I think he had himself great numbers, and I was fist bumping on the touchdown that he scored. So I am excited to see him on there. But I'm going to go with number one on my list. I'm going to go with wide receiver Devontae Adams, who is on one heck of a passing offense right now. Matthew Stafford's playing out of his mind. Puka Nakua playing out of his mind, and Devontae Adams has done just as well. He's right in the place. He actually led the team in receiving last week. So he went 5 for 11 targets for 88 yards. They did end up losing to the Niners, but he did himself a pretty good game. He was not able to get into the end zone, but he finished the game with the team high 88 receiving yards, like I mentioned. He should be a solid fantasy option for the foreseeable future, in my opinion.
No, absolutely. I mean, he might be coming on his last wheels here, but he's still an incredible wide receiver. I have my number one guy, Rashid Shaheed. He ate last week as well, but he's playing the Patriots defense, who let up the most 20-plus yard receiving plays allowed, which is 21 in 5 weeks. I feel like that's a lot. And he is the big play guy. So if Rattler can get him down the field, he's gonna eat pretty heavily. So I'm excited to see Rashid Shaheed. They're finally throwing him the ball again, which is very important for this offense to kind of do what they should be doing and what they were doing the first couple weeks of last year before everyone got injured with him and Olave. So those are our flexes for the week. Let's move on here to what we really want to talk about, though, because we love rookie talk. We love talking about, like, okay, how did we do in our rookie drafts, right? So we're going to redraft the first two rounds. Or I'm sorry, we're going to redraft and create a piece to start with just rookies. We changed it up a little bit, so I apologize for that. But Jeremy, you're going to go first. We're going to do two quarterbacks, or Superflex League. Probably going to take two quarterbacks, I would assume. Two running backs, three wide receivers, a tight end, and three flexes.
Correct.
Correct. Okay, just double checking there. We're on the same page. We are going to do a tight end premium as well, just so that helps a little bit for who you would pick. But I'm going to let you have the honors of going first because I'm kind of interested to see where you're going to start.
I appreciate that. I think without hesitation, I'm going to go wide receiver Mika Ibuka. I was going to go him first overall, or I wanted to get at least a share of him early in drafts. As soon as I found out that he declared, and as soon as he was going to be in an NFL draft, I was super high on him until I found out his landing spot. And then I overlooked the fact that Godwin was injured. I overlooked the fact that Godwin's age and coming back. And I overlooked the fact that skill always outperforms landing spot. Amiga has stepped up to be, in my opinion, the early candidate for offensive rookie of the year. So I want to grab him immediately right now. First overall, Amiga Buka.
I like it. So the way we're playing this is we're only using rookies, and there's only one rookie quarterback I would want. So I'm going to steal him, Jackson Dart, because the rest of them have not performed, either haven't played or haven't played well. So I'll take Jackson.
It breaks my heart that I lost Jackson Dart. But I'm in 4 dynasty leagues, and I have him in 3 out of 4. So I can share the love a little bit on Jackson Dart. If we're going to go quarterbacks, then I'm going to go Cam Ward as my next pick. As you've foreseeably mentioned, the quarterback class has not performed to the highest standards. And if, in my opinion, the best quarterback is gone in Jackson Dart, I'm going to take the next best in Cam Ward. So I'm going to take Cam Ward with my second pick.
And then for my second pick, I'm going to go a little bit different than what a normal draft would be, but because of where I see all these players, I'm going to go Tyler Warren because he is by far, kind of like Jackson Dart in my opinion, by far the best tight end that we've seen so far on this in this draft class.
Okay, I lost the tight end. That's fair. At this opportunity, then, with me having the wide receiver at least established from the early get-go, I'm going to run with, no pun intended, Alshon Jantty. I'm going to take him as my running back spot. I believe his usage is being utilized now in a proper manner, and his numbers are not only going up, but they're being in a positive, not only on the football field, but in the fantasy world as well. He's being utilized in the backfield and catching. He's being utilized in the backfield for powering through the runs and goal line stances. I'm going Alshon Jantty with my third pick.
Yeah, so it was between Warren and Jantty for me. Actually, Jantty probably should have been the number 1 overall, in my opinion, still with all this. But because of knowing that we were only using quarterbacks and tight ends, I wanted to get the best team available. I did a little bit of rearranging there. And I thought the running backs and the wide receivers were a little bit deeper than the quarterback and the tight end. So I am going to take who I think could end up being the best player out of this entire draft, in Tedero McMillan. Yes, he hasn't fully shown it on the field quite yet. Bryce Young is still working out some kinks, I feel like, 4 years in. But he is really close, and there's been a lot of big plays for him that have been called back because of either holding or he got pass interference, so he didn't get those points, things like that. So I think he's about to break out very shortly.
Okay, I am then going to turn my focus back to the running backs, and I'm going to take Omarion Hampton. We are at the present time of Omarion Hampton hitting an IR, but it is a 4-week, not a season ender. Unfortunately for our beloved Steeler fans and former fans of Najee Harris, his was a season ender. I believe Hampton was on his way to show the world this was his backfield prior to his ankle injury, and I believe he comes right back after his IR to show the world and continuing, hey, this is my backfield. I'm going to take it from whoever decides to show up during this stint of my IR.
Yeah, that's a great pick. That's the one guy I was hoping you didn't take because he did show out whenever, as soon as Najee went down, it became Hampton's the guy, and he performed as well. Since you only left me one of the top 3 running backs left, in my opinion, and Trevion Henderson has not performed yet, Quinshon Judkins is going to be my next pick, and I know that hurts you because you love him.
Yes.
So I apologize. This is basically like Jeremy's favorite team is who I'm ended up drafting, not on purpose.
It's okay. A lot of these players actually have draft stock in, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I am going to take, in my opinion, the next best tight end in this class, and Mason Taylor. His usage over the past few weeks has shown exactly what I've been saying. It is he's going to be wide receiver 2 on this Jets team. He has 19 targets in the past 2 weeks, including 12 last week alone. I should have played him last week, and for those that listened in the beginning, when I played Mickey, if I would have played him, I would have won. That's how much of a game he had. So I'm going to throw Mason Taylor on there, and I'm going to grab him in this tight end premium league.
Very, very nice. I'm gonna stick with the running backs and take Cam Scatterbo. I think I liked watching him. I loved him. Seeing him play in Arizona State. I also think that as soon as he got the chance, he kind of took the again, no pun intended. I didn't mean to say it this way, but took the ball and ran with it. And when Tyrone Tracy comes back, it's gonna be hard to. It's gonna be interesting how they mix those two in together.
Okay. Well, I did not get my boy and Jackson Darts, so I want to make sure that I can fill myself in with quarterback better than most. So I'm going to go with Dylan Gabriel. Dude had himself a decent game against the stout Vikings defense. He went for 190 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns, no interceptions on the day. And as the game went, he seemed like he got more comfortable with not only his wide receivers, but the overall flow of the game. Today, as we mentioned, Joe Flacco was traded to the Cincinnati Bengals. So it shows that they have full confidence in Dylan Gabriel being their quarterback. Mind you, I don't want to mention the other quarterback on the rounds because Dylan Gabriel always seems to be mentioned within that breath. But let's just give him a little bit of love here. I'm going to throw Dylan Gabriel into my next draft.
I like it, which means I can pick my quarterback last. Thank you. This is where it kind of gets interesting because this is the point where you're looking at everybody and you're like, they haven't necessarily done it yet, or they've done it a little bit, but not like you can't trust them fully, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take what I have seen in college, and with that, I'm going to take Travis Hunter. I think he came out as one of the best athletes in this class, probably the best athlete in this class, and he had an incredible catch on Monday that I think kind of is going to unlock him a little bit.
Great grab. The league that I am in that was transitioning to an IDP league in 2026, he was my second overall pick. He was someone I had to grab. I love the talent. I love the unicorn stature, and I can't wait to see what he does for the rest of the year. On that note, I think I'm going to go back to running back, and I'm going to go back to the guy who I spoke with earlier today. I'm going to go with Bill. Corey Crosby Merritt. I'm going to grab him. He was a later draft pick in our rookie drafts that we completed in May, just because of the potential that he would have being behind a backfield of Austin Eckler, who has tendency of injuries. Well, Bill has not only stepped up, but he has stepped up with flying colors and is getting high praise of the coaching staff. And he is RB1, 2 touchdowns last week. I am moving him up on the rankings. I'm drafting Bill.
That was the other guy I was thinking about. So well done there. All right, it's long enough. You have not taken him. I appreciate you not taking him. Thank you. Trevion Henderson is on my team for sure. I talk about him every single week. I couldn't believe that I took him this late. And I think it's coming. I really do. I think it's coming. It's got to come, right? Like, Stevenson is not good, and he drops the ball. I just don't get it.
No, at full support. He was one of my flex players this week. I think it's coming. I think we're going to start seeing it this week. I think we really, truly do start seeing it this week.
I hope.
Next wide receiver, next player I'm going to grab is wide receiver. I'm going to grab Luther Burden. He's shown recent flashes just the other week in regards to grabbing 2 weeks ago, grabbing a 65-yard touchdown grab. But I believe DJ Moore's days are over on the Chicago Bears. I believe he will see his way out sooner than later. I don't necessarily feel that he will complete his full contract with the Chicago Bears. Let's put it that way. I'm going to grab Burden at this moment here under the offense.
I like the move. That's a really nice pick there. I'm going to go with who has been the number one Tennessee Titan wide receiver in Alec Aomaner.
I knew you'd take him. I knew it. To the point where I don't even have him on my list.
It's probably smart because he is mine in everything. No, he's just had a really good start to the year. Calvin Ridley showed up this past week. He had ended up Aomaner had a rough week this week, but I don't know if that's going to continue. I think they both can eat, and I also don't think Calvin Ridley lasts on this team very much longer. Just like you were talking about DJ Moore.
I like it. The next one I'm going to go with, I'm going to go back to the running backs. I'm actually surprised he's still here, probably because of his lack of involvement, but it's a matter of time before he is shown. I'm going to go RJ Harvey, running back for the Denver Broncos. J.K. Dobbins is showing why he got brought in and got paid for this contract. I mean, he's doing well. He's owning all the touches, but I believe RJ Harvey was drafted for a reason under Sean Payton's offense, and he'll be utilized.
I like it. I was wondering when we were finally going to decide to take him, to be honest with you.
Surprise.
Yep. And I am going to take Jaden Higgins. We're starting to see a little bit of what he can do. And it's actually helping Nico as well as himself. He's starting to score touchdowns, starting to get the ball a little bit more, which is giving C.J. Stroud a little bit more options as well.
Okay, then for my wide receiver spot, the last wide receiver spot, I'm going to go with Matthew Golden. It's just a matter of time before I see Matthew Golden take over that wide receiving room. I believe the talent is there. We're just awaiting the opportunity and skill set to kind of gel with Jordan Love. I'm going to go with Matthew Golden in my final wide receiver spot.
I'm going to take, I think, Woody Marks.
I love it.
Yeah, I think Woody Marks is going to have to join the team and I know that's a lot of running backs on my team, but I'm okay with that. Because it's a matter of time before he takes over fully for Nick Chubb. I know it didn't look good this week, but game script is what's going to dictate that, just like what I talked about with Bill as well.
Okay, well then for my last position here, keeping in mind that it's a tight end premium league, and keeping in mind I love me some stacks, I'm going to go with Harold Fannin in my last spot here for my flex position. It's going to give me an opportunity to stack him with Gabriel. And he has shown already that he is one of the favorite targets of not only Dylan Gabriel, but pass Brown quarterbacks of Joe Flacco. But the overall offense, it seems as if he is ready to take over Njoku.
I love it. And we said this was 2 quarterback or super flex?
Super flex. So you technically don't have to grab a second quarterback.
Because right now there are only...
We all know if we were proud listeners, we all know who the second quarterback is going to be you're taking. But we all know also it's not going to get you any points.
Right now. Right. Normally, in a super flex, you want to take quarterback. However, no other quarterbacks are starting that are rookies. Would love to take Jalen Milroe here. However, again, I'd like points more. So, with that, I think I'm going to go to... I'm picking between Tesla and Gordon, and I can't decide which one. We're going to go with Ollie Gordon. I think there's a spot for him on the Miami Dolphins. You don't draft someone who's completely different than your original scheme unless you have a reason for it. And I've said this before. And he's going to be the goal line back. So, yes, I am an Achane fan and an Achane very much Achane owner. But I think Ollie Gordon is going to take the short yardage touchdowns away, and he's gonna eat a little bit. So with that, I don't know if you remember who you picked, but I think I have mine.
I got mine. Yeah, I got
All
mine. I got quarterbacks. I got quarterback Cam Ward, followed by running back Genty and Hampton. My 3 wide receivers will be Abuka, Burden, and Golden. My my tight end would be Mason Taylor. My flex would be Bill, RJ Harvey, and Fannin. And then my super flex is Dylan Gabriel.
I like it. So my quarterback's obviously Jackson Dart. Kind of shocked you with that one, I think.
Yeah, that early, I was ready to take him at 2nd overall, honestly.
Yeah.
So
Honestly, if I would have went first, I was taking Jackson Dart. I think he's that far ahead of everybody else in the rookie class for quarterbacks. Or the other two, I guess. But you ended up getting the other two, so well done. The wide receivers, I have Ted McMillan, Travis Hunter, and Alec Ayomater. Very happy with that. And then I have a ton of running backs that I can pick from. Actually, the rest are running backs, except for Tyler Warren as my tight end, Judkins, Scatabo, Trevion Henderson, Woody Marks, and Ollie Gordon round out. Probably in retrospect, if we would have done this a little bit slower, I probably would have ended up taking Tesla because of all the running backs I have. We have no, if it was a real draft. So, but love this team. Think I'm going to win.
I think, who are our bye weeks this week?
The bye weeks this week, unfortunately, Woody Marks and the Texans, and actually 2 of the guys I have that are on my team. Did I? I took Jaden Higgins as well. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so I do have a 1 backup wide receiver. It is Minnesota and Houston who are the bye weeks this week. So should be interesting.
Okay, cool. We should try to compare the two.
Well, 2 of my guys are on a bye week. That doesn't work. I don't think any of yours are.
Exactly. That's my point.
So what happens if I end up scoring more points than you with only 8 guys?
It's only going to be the same thing that happened last week in fantasy where you scored more points than me. So, hey.
That's a great point. No, I'm just playing. So I thought this was a lot of fun. I think it's always fun to kind of look and see where the rookies are now, and it kind of give you an idea of, okay, it wasn't that far off, but there are a few changes you would probably have made if you were, especially in the first round. So, like Caleb Johnson wasn't even drafted in our league in this
Correct
talk. Loveland wasn't drafted in this because he hasn't performed yet, really. He's actually had duds rather than a stud. So, with that, I think, unless you have anything else you wanted to add, we're going to head out today. It's a little bit longer of a show, but there was a lot to talk about. It's getting
yeah, you nailed it on the head. It's getting in the meat of the year. We got a lot to talk about, so it's fine by me, as long as I'm sure it's fine by our listeners. So, let's put a bow on this thing, baby.
All right, man. So for Jeremy, I'm Mickey. This has been Dynasty of the Mountaintops. Check us out next week. We'll talk buy or sell, which is one of my favorite things to talk about, as well as the rookies. Also listen to us on Podbean, YouTube, and Apple. We got our socials at dynastymttops, Blue Sky, and X. And then you can email us at dynastymttops@gmail.com for any comments, questions, show ideas for the off season. Because surprisingly, that's rapidly approaching somehow. That you would like to hear as well. But again, for Jeremy, I'm Mickey. This is the Dynasty of the Mountaintops. Have a great week.
Rock and roll, baby.